remember my sister Molly called me and said, "Are you sitting down?"
It's an interesting morning, so I know we had a bad windstorm the night prior, and
the mural is being pulled away from the wall, and she said, you can see it from the windows of Art in the Loft. It's being pulled right away from the wall. It was attached to a sail canopy.
literally I got to the third floor elevator, and then all of a sudden you just heard, you know, just this massive sound, and you look out the window and it was just dust.
It was really only like a minute after that we had walked through that park that it fell.
Down. It was just a miracle that no one got hurt.
So the very first moment it started would have been back in 2013 as a continuation of using mural artist Tony Hendrick. Art in the Loft collaborated with him on a small collaborative mural project called the Mural of Hope, which is in the Cancer Center at Mid-Michigan Hospital. And we loved that process so much because it incorporated getting ideas from the community and then actually them lending their paintbrush to a mural, that we knew we had to continue that effort. And out of many meetings grew this idea to use Chris and Missy Lefebvre's building as our canvas, blank canvas for that. And we worked with Tony directly on getting what ideas could be around that. And we knew starting with what Alpena was about was going to be our theme. And so that was that first meeting. And that was, like I said, in 2012, 2013, and then to where we are
The
today.
inspiration really came from Karen Bennett. She was looking to have something, an underwater scene with some type of 3D fish that the community could paint on. And I came up with the idea because I was at the time working on a 3D sculpture out of styrofoam. I said, look, you know, this is the way to go with styrofoam, and that's where it was born.
I knew that I wanted to do something to focus on the history of Alpena, the shipwrecks, the diving, the things that are sort of characteristic about Alpena, and the things that, you know, are centered on the water, because that is, you know, such a large part of what our community is about. That's what brings visitors here. That's what, you know, part of what Alpena was settled around. So I had the idea that I wanted it to be about water and diving and sort of diving into the arts. That was the original name for it, Dive into the Arts.
So that first install would have been September of first install September 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, was that first final install. So that means all 60-some panels were up, all 13 three-dimensional fish were up, and it was only like that for about a month.
I remember my sister Molly called me and said, "Are you sitting down?" I remember her saying, "Are you sitting down?" And I said, "No," but she's like, "Come take a look at the mural." I was over at Cabin Creek at the time, and I remember coming over and seeing it, and it was almost like a dream, almost. It didn't seem real.
And I always look in the park because that's just where my head goes naturally to look at, oh, how's the mural? Always look at it. But what I saw instead were these sails kind of dismantled in the middle, hanging down. At that time there was a decorative sail being attached to the building. And I was like, oh no, the wind really must have got those. So I quickly got on the phone with my friend Ann Gentry over at the DDA because she had the connection.
And Justin called me from Art in the Loft and said, hey, you might want to come down to the fish mural and just see, like, the wall is a little bit bowed. Just take a look at it and maybe call your contractor. So I walked down there, and indeed the wall, you could see it was bowing out from the sails and the wire system that was attached.
Denise Cooper, who works up here, came down to my office and said, there's a really serious problem. The mural is being pulled away from the wall. And she said, you can see it from from the windows of Art in the Loft. It's being pulled right away from the wall. It was attached to a sail canopy that had been attached to the mural, and those sails had caught the wind, and the cables that held that sail to the wall were pulling the mural away from the wall.
Oh, well, my eyes started leaking a little bit. I couldn't believe it, and when I walked down, it was just a miracle that no one got hurt. I had heard that a couple of people had heard that it was buckling and coming out from the wall a little bit earlier, like the day before. I had noticed it just looked a little off. Some other people had noticed too, and were going down to check it out when it fell. And you know, I heard stories, I didn't see it myself, but you know, the smoke was rising up above the buildings from all the rubble falling, and it was a miracle no one got hurt.
Well, I think a lot of people were frustrated because this was a project that people spend so much time putting together. I know Tony put a lot of time into it, and just to see that kind of destroyed and Mother Nature take her toll on this beautiful piece of art. Obviously there was a lot of sadness and frustration, but then you kind of get to talking to folks and you learn about Alpena and its spirit, and it's all about rebuilding, and that's, you know, exactly what people did.
I felt like a grief counselor, you know, because in the heartache that people expressed to to it falling, you know, people were really connected to it and drawn to it, and so there was a lot of people that were horribly sad and disappointed, and you know, that just says a lot about Alpena, that we care about the artistic view and something beautiful.
Like it was happening to your own home. That was sort of what it felt like to me. Right. Like something that we had worked so hard on, that the community had worked so hard on, was gone. Right. And that feeling was just sort of like, it was like an empty feeling. It's gone. And it was unbelievable. You know?
I think it was Justin said, we don't want to see pictures of the mural destroyed. We don't, you know, there were a lot of pictures floating around social media of, you know, the devastation on the ground. And he said, we don't want to show those pictures. We want to see all your pictures that you've taken over the past year of yourselves in front of that mural. And so right away on social media, there was just hundreds of pictures that people had taken of themselves being in front of the mural and with their families, and that was just a really nice thing that happened.
What a project like this does do is bring people together and to tell a story, and the fish mural has a great story and it just keeps evolving. Yeah. So what we have with the fish mural is not only a little bit about our heritage and about activities that people can do here in the abstract representation of the visual design of the mural, but the story about how the community came together to essentially fund it and help paint it. And then when it fell, that really showed the tenacity of our community and our perseverance. Maybe a lot of people would be like, oh man, that was a lot of work. Oh well, it was good while it lasted, but not us. We have a long history of just blazing forward and making it happen, and this mural tells that story. Yeah.
Immediately, the first question out of many people's mouths, when's it going back up? Yeah. What do we need? What do you need? We had people, yourself included, I'm ready to donate again today. I was like, slow down, we got But I mean, that was it. That was it. At that point, it was no monetary value. It had only the feelings of what they knew it represented.
We contacted Tony right away the first day that it happened, and he was, you know, no hesitation that he wanted to do it again.
There was definitely an element of shock, but also a looking forward to, hey, wait a minute, I can make this even better than it was before, and I feel like it has become a better mural ultimately.
I love the fact that Tony incorporated a real diver, one of the divers that we all know, Stephanie Gandola, in her, you know, portraited now up there on the wall. And she's a big supporter of Alpena, very energetic, enthusiastic representative of the Marine Sanctuary, and a archaeologist.
You know, I guess on the one hand, I'm a little bit relieved that you can't immediately tell or a lot of people don't know that it's me.
Right.
So I can, keep a little anonymity that way.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll be walking out there and I'll brag about it a little bit and
Yeah.
say, you know what the diver is? But most of the time, I'm glad that you can't really tell it's me right off the bat.
Wow, this is an opportunity to make this different.
Yeah.
And to, what did we do the first time that maybe we could have reached more people? Or to maybe exemplify what Alpena is even more so than what had done the first time. Yeah. And so we took what we had known, used that prior knowledge, and applied it to what it is today. And so that means we were able to venture out to schools, Boys and Girls Club, and then actually make a symbol in Alpena that isn't in these walls.
Yeah.
Make a symbol downtown that is extremely visible. Just because of our location, not everyone can see us, and so we needed to we felt like it was something that we needed downtown to, not just a beautification thing, because it's gorgeous and it's great, but what does it do? Because now it's a place where people can meet and gather.
Kind of the great process and sense of pride the second time around, if that makes sense, because the first time it was, such a cool thing for our community that no one had done before, is making this investment in public art and having it be from a community organization. So I think like having it a second time was kind of all those feelings again, and kind of reinvigorating our community to be like, these things are important, and what's next? Let's do it again.
People are really excited about it going back up. It threw a lot of hope back into our community. It showed that no matter what, in bad times, we are capable of rebuilding and getting back something that our community really loves. So, but with it coming back, people are ecstatic about it. People are excited. They're driven. They want to be part of it. It's nice to see in people's eyes just kind of the hope that has gone into rebuilding that and getting it back to being part of our community again.
So we're not a community that only cares about feeding and clothing our citizens. We also want to provide inspiration. We want to provide, warm, welcoming atmosphere. We say we're a community with a growing art culture. Well, this fish mural is proof of that. It connects a lot of public art that we have throughout the community. It connects a lot of the art galleries that we have in the community. And it really has become, in a short period of time, an essential landmark that really anchors us as an art community.
I think it's just always fascinating to see what people can do when they come together as a group with a common vision. Everybody wants to make their mark, and Alpena is just such a resilient community. I think this speaks to its resilience, and just the idea of collaboration, that so much can happen, that are, we're limited only by our imaginations. I mean, anything is possible, and I think Alpena really always embraces that idea that, nothing is impossible. We can all work.
The biggest takeaway from this is just the impact that it's made within our community. It's seeing it obviously has a wow factor. You come around the corner and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a huge mural. But it's actually more than that. It's about what it is and where it is, and the combination of those two. Meaning you can use this as a backdrop for a family photo. You can use it as a destination to meet an old friend. You can come here and just stumble upon it and then immediately get your camera out. And so it's just one of those moments that you come across, and it's bigger than what we thought it would be. Not only physically, but what it means to our town.